So my dear, today is the last day of September, which means that is the moment for us to share about our most used tarot and oracle decks of September 2025. So I'm going to share my tools and I'm looking forward to learn about your tools. In the comments down below, like what did you use the most in September? Let me know. And if you like this kind of content, please subscribe. Okay, my dear, so September was a beautiful month, full of opportunities, right? We have tons of windows, we call them actually openings throughout the year. There are chances for us to draw energy, to draw light into our lives, to expand our vessel, to receive more light so that we can fulfill our purpose in a more conscious way, in a way that makes sense for ourselves. And in September, we had the Kabbalistic New Year, which was a beautiful opportunity for us to, well, an opportunity of renewal, which is a beautiful gift, especially now, just before fall and winter. We had a very beautiful dark moon, a powerful lunar eclipse. The lunar eclipse was super powerful for me and my students. I would like to know your experience. And of course, the beginning of fall, right? And because of all these opportunities I shared with you here in the community tab, a beautiful spread for you to take advantage of this energy in September. And I hope you tried it. And if you didn't, please go there and give it a try now. Because even though those dates, they are gone, you still can draw from that energy. Please take advantage of that. I strongly recommend you to try that spread that I shared with you. Okay, my dear, so September is here, feeling like fall. At least for me, it's starting feeling like fall. And fall for me is the moment to engage in a more proactive way in shadow work. There's no such thing as a month or a season for shadow work, right? But those of us who work with seasons in a more like intimate way, like I do, it's natural that we are going to start creating some processes that make sense for us. And for me, since last year, fall and winter, they have been beautiful months for self-discovery, a kind of a hermit moment as well. And I'm feeling that already. So now in September, I started my proactive and engaging in a more, how can I say, it's more intentional, because every month I do some shadow work, but now it's more intentional. And in September, the deck that I used the most for that purpose is a deck that is one of my favorite decks for shadow work. This one here, the Tarot of Vampires. This is the Spanish edition, El Tarot de los Vampiros, right? So this deck was gifted to me by a beloved student. Here's the back. And this is a deck that is out of print in English. If they bring it to the market again, I'll definitely buy this deck, but it is now out of print. So for those of you who want this deck, please check the Spanish edition. The cards, they are a little larger than a regular tarot card, so you can see the artwork very well. What happens with these decks that I didn't want it, like I never bought this deck before because the artwork's not my cup of tea. And I'm going to tell you that it is, for me, it feels almost like dark crystal visions, you know, like a very, an artwork. Well, for me, it screams teenager. I don't know. And it's not my my artwork style. I don't work with vampires. Like, I don't know. I just didn't want to have this deck. And then this deck came to my collection, and it is a beautiful deck for shadow work. Okay? I only use this deck for shadow work. The myth of the vampire is very interesting to understand our human consciousness, and it is something for us to understand, like, where am I trying to draw light from? Am I trying to draw my light to receive the light from the original source? Or am I trying to draw that from people around me, or from things, or from situations? Or am I allowing myself to feel drained by giving my vital energy to others? So the myth of the vampires can help us to understand these dynamics. Especially, well, everything's about relationship in our lives. Everything's about relationship. So our relationship with something bigger than us, our relationship with ourselves, and the way we decide to engage in our relationship with others and things and situations. It's all about relationship in our lives. That's the main thing, the main subject, right? And I think this myth is beautiful for that. And then I have this deck that I used a lot as well, which is Les Vampiros Oracle by Lucy Cavendish. Beautiful artwork by Jasmine Becket. And this is an old deck in my collection, very old deck. And then when the Tarot of Vampires came to my collection, I thought, oh, I should use them together. They are the only two decks with vampire theme that I have. This is a Blue Angel deck, and I love this deck. It's a gorgeous deck. So she clarifies the Tarot of Vampires in such a beautiful way. It almost feels like they were meant to be together, you know? I really enjoy using them together. This is a deck that I used to clarify in other tarot readings as well, but more, it feels, at least for me, more like in a shadow side. But it is a beautiful deck, and I love the artwork because it helps us and our clients as well, our students as well, to feel more playful. And when it comes to accessing our shadow and working on anything that is under the surface, being playful, allowing ourselves to not take ourselves so seriously, because sometimes we are there taking ourselves so seriously. Everything's like the end of the world. And no, it should be fun. Let me find out a little bit more about my shadow, about my ego, about anything that is maybe blocking me at this moment. It must be exciting, because that's part of the human experience. And it feels like this deck brings that, and even the Tarot of Vampires as well. Now, I'll share with you a deck that I must tell you, it is becoming one of my favorite oracle decks of all times. Not my favorite oracle deck of all time, but one of them, which is this one, the Earth and Bone Oracle. I love this deck. I love this deck so much. I didn't expect. I didn't think that I would love this deck that much. Actually, this deck, in my opinion, my humble opinion, is one of those rare cases when the mass market's better than the indie version. The indie version is too dark, in my opinion. No, the artwork's too dark, so it's hard for me to see the image. And oh my God, look at this owl. How gorgeous. And here you can see the images in a clearer way. Look at this. Come on, look at this. And it is a deck that works with duality. So we have the bones and the flowers, the nature, right? So it's important for us to have that artwork popping up. Look, the flowers, how they pop up in the image here in this edition. Strongly recommend the mass market, guys. It's beautiful. Look at this. I love it. I have a very good relationship with skulls, a human skull, with skeletons, because this is who we are. It is what we have inside of ourselves, and I think that that's so beautiful. So beautiful. So I'm not afraid of them. I really love them. And if you feel just a little bit attracted to this artwork or this theme, give it a try. What is important to say is, don't let this artwork fool you. It's not a dark deck, let's say, you know, that people sometimes they're afraid of a deck. No, this deck is extremely loving. Extremely loving. It is extremely compassionate. She's beautiful. She's like a cheerleader. The guidebooks like that. The message there like that. I love this deck, guys. I love this. That's all I can tell you. And this is a beautiful deck for daily draws. Yep. She has like consistency for you. Because some decks, they don't have, I don't know, meat enough for us to engage on a daily draw with the deck, using only that deck. You need tarot, you need other decks. This Oracle deck, no, she's great by herself. She's great. Even you can make a full reading only with her as well. And she clarifies tarot. Ah, she's amazing to clarify tarot. So she's very versatile. And I would invite you to try this deck, especially if you're afraid of this kind of images. I think about creating a video talking about it. Like if it's for you, it's too hard to work with this kind of decks, maybe you should work on why is that, and start navigating and trying to get into a point where you can add a deck like this and work with that. And if you're a person that only likes this kind of decks and have a hard time with decks like this, I would recommend you to do the same. Work on yourself to understand why is that, because I love it. I think it's important to have both sides in our practice, right? Now, another deck. This deck I've been using every day as well is this one here. The Seasons of the Witch, Mabon. Now I'm not a witch, and I don't think you have to be in order to love this deck. Of course, well, Rockpool, they have been doing an amazing job in my opinion. Their decks, they are borderless, and they have this beautiful gilded edges. Look at this. Look at this. I'm happy just looking at this deck. So the artwork is gorgeous. Whoops. The artwork is gorgeous. I love this deck. Now, this is not my morning draw, like my main draw. No. I use this deck like during the day. You know when sometimes in the afternoon you grab a coffee or a tea and you want to hug, like, oh, I want something very nice. Then I decide to go there and draw, and then I draw one card from this deck. I have something that doesn't happen all the time. It doesn't happen with everything or all the decks. Sometimes I can smell things. So this is one of those decks that experience that kind of, that kind of thing, right? I look at this deck and it smells like pumpkin for me. I really can smell, as I'm talking to you, I can smell pumpkin, I can smell cinnamon. You know, when our moms, they used to bake a delicious like cake and you could smell the cake. Oh my God, I miss that so much. And this deck brings me that. So it brings me a little bit of those memories, a little bit of, what's the word, guys? Nostalgia. And she's like a hug. So yeah, I want to create a review for this deck as well. I would like to have the keywords here because it's not the keywords. We have some phrases. I'd love to have the keywords. But this is the deck that I have been using in the afternoon with a cup of tea or a cup of coffee just to hug myself a little bit. Beautiful deck for that. Now, well, we have many more Oracle decks than Tarot decks this month. Now I want to share with you this Oracle here. Inspiration cards. I want to, let me not show this image because I want to record a review for this deck because more people must know about this deck. This deck's a deck by Sky Autumn. She's the same artist of the Alana Fairchild's Sacred Rebels Oracle. And well, you can use the card like this, or the image, only the image, or only the message, or both. It is an indie deck, so you can find this deck on her Etsy shop, and it's wonderful. This is, since she got here, she's been my favorite deck to define the overarching theme in a reading for myself and clients. And she's beautiful for, well, to wrap up a reading as well. But as an overarching theme, she's gorgeous. I love this deck. It's always spot on. It's always fantastic. And for you to have an idea, in the beginning of this year, I bought one specific deck. I'm going to show this deck when I talk more about shadow work. We are going to talk more about shadow work here. And then I bought a specific deck thinking about shadow work, and I received an unexpected message. That message was saying it's time for you to heal the masculine. I was not thinking about doing that. It's not something that I really engage in. And then a card from this deck. Oh, it was the last one that would always show up for me, was this one here, which is exactly divine masculine. So it says, be a peaceful warrior, have integrity in all actions, step into compassionate leadership, find freedom through forgiveness. Your focus and patience will cultivate positive change. Your love is your strength. It's very nice. And every time you have cards, you're going to have the name of the artwork here. This is a beautiful deck. Beautiful deck. And if you feel like, and it's huge. I love huge oracle decks, right? Now, I want to show you this oracle deck. I have been working with this oracle deck a lot because I have a new tarot mentoring student, and this is the oracle that she chose to work with during our mentorship. I had this deck for a while. I like this deck, but I would not use it all the time. And we started using it more often, and she's been a beautiful surprise. I love the messages in this deck. It's really about understanding your light, understanding your gifts, understanding who you are, and allowing yourself to overflow in the world. Allow yourself to fill your vessel with the light and overflow in your business, in your career, in your relationships, because at the end of the day, guys, everything's about relationship. So even our businesses or our career, they are about relationship. How is my relationship, the quality of my relationship with the light that I share, with boundaries, with my clients, with people that work for me or people that I work for, right? I said clients already, my boss or whatever. So it's everything about relationship, and my relationship with myself. Like, what do I believe that I deserve in this exchange? What is the light that I really have inside of myself? What do I think about myself? That's important. Every time we're going to have we are going to engage in some kind of relationship, it's important to ask yourself, how am I feeling about myself now? How do I feel about myself? What do I think about myself? Because we are going to all our relationships, all of them, bringing that energy, bringing that consciousness, that sometimes is the consciousness of receiving, sometimes of giving, sometimes it's of both in a very, very healthy way, and sometimes it's not. So it's interesting to know that. This deck we've been using, and my student, she has been using this deck for daily draws. She has been using this deck as an overarching theme for her readings, to wrap up her readings, to receive a message, especially because she started understanding that she works with the rose lineage a lot as well. She's connected to that lineage, we found out. And it clarifies tarot as well, right? It's a beautiful deck. I would say that it became probably my favorite Rebecca Campbell's decks, my favorite Rebecca Campbell's deck. I only have, I think, 3, but I really love this deck. This is a special deck. Okay, so I want to mention these 2 beauties here. I'm recording a video sharing about all Elena Fairchild's Goddesses decks, and these ones, they are the Mother Mary Pocket Edition and the Kuan Yin Pocket Edition. So this is the deck that I was almost like, oh, I'm not going to buy this one. I have the Standard Edition. I was almost, oh, I'm not going to buy. Oh, I'm so glad I did. This deck, I draw from this deck every night. There's a message before bed, and it's always spot on. And this one here, Kuan Yin, is my main deity, the main deity that I work with. And this deck was away a little bit, but now we're back together. She's always spot on as well. I love these little babies here. I want to tell you that I have been... I'm not going to show the cards because I did it in a video, just like, 2 videos before this one. You're going to find the unboxing for the Mary Magdalene Oracle I have been using with this deck. I have been working with this deck a lot to understand her. And so far, I think that it is a great deck to understand about Mary Magdalene's gospel. Much more than receiving messages for your life. Of course, you're going to receive messages for your life, but it is much more of a study deck. I like this deck. And she feels like fall as well. It's been great. Now, let's finish with tarot decks. I've been using the Paulina Tarot a lot because it feels like fall. It feels like fall. She's beautiful. She is full of details. I really love decks when the cards, they are full of details. I love this deck for business readings. I have a video sharing where I shared about that already here in the channel. She's beautiful for business readings and readings in general. I don't know, and is she sweet? Yes, she is, but she kicks your ass. She kicks your ass as well. She's gorgeous, she's beautiful. She's not as playful, at least for me. She's not as playful as the Joie de Vivre. She's more like, let's do what must be done. She tells you the truth just right away. She just doesn't think twice. Beautiful deck. The Paulina Tarot. And then the last deck, the Tarot of Mystical Moments. Guys, our relationship became really serious. Is that a marriage, Rachel? Maybe. I'm going to tell you what I feel about this deck. I always did my best to not work with only one deck. I always liked to work with several decks, but I have been working with her every day. And I'm going to tell you, she understands me so well. And I'm going to tell you, if I was a tarot deck, maybe I would be the Tarot of Mystical Moments. And if she was a person, maybe she would be Rachel. Lots of earth, lots of water. And she's a deck that, I don't know, these images, they trigger my intuition in a crazy way. It goes under the surface. It's like an onion, you're going to peel. We peel all those layers. We find out so many things just with the artwork. So I love this deck. I love this deck. I can't see myself without this deck. The Tarot of Mystical Moments. She's just perfection. That's it, perfection. And she will go with me through October and November and December. I just love this deck so much, guys. These were then the decks that I used the most in September 2025, and I'm looking forward to hear from you and learn your experience in September. Don't remember to try our spread, and please consider subscribing so that we can see each other every week when I upload new videos. Thank you so much for being here. Your presence is so important for me. I'm sending you lots of love, and I'll see you in the next video. Lots of love.